Send him in. Well. What a game of football that was. I don't know if we should be happy or we should be pissed off with the performance from the lads. But 3 points is what matters. Tonight, there's no Dodsey. There's Bobby's behind the scenes as always. Big him up. Coach Ali will be hosting because our man G is busy. He got with commitments and he's been held up in some traffic. And then we've got a special guest here tonight as well in Anthony. How are you, Anthony? You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good. And Geeks, how you feeling, mate? Are you all right?
I'm better now. Better now than I was for the last 15 minutes of that match. But hey, as I said, our currency right now is 3 points. That's it. 3 points.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Please do obviously comment on the game that we've just witnessed, and we'll do our utmost. Bobby will put them up, and I will do my best to read out. Tamina, any transfer Arsenal transfer updates, please, Bobby. Bobby, if he can give you any Bobby bangers or any updates, I'm sure he will in the chat. Please do give us your thoughts and your feelings on the game that we've just witnessed, as I just said. And then myself and the boys will go through the stats, the facts, and break down this evening's games. And maybe also, Geeks, we can look at the table and the Premier League table and see where everything's at and where we're potentially going to be going on Wednesday night. But yeah, please please hit the share button, the like, and subscribe. As Geeks has put in the comments, AFC777, big up everyone. Mightily relieved to get it done today onto Brighton. Absolutely right. Hope Rice will be okay for Wednesday and beyond. Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah. So, boys, I'm not going to start off the analysis. Mr. G, apologies. I couldn't be with you, lads. 3 points. We move back for the next one. Definitely, brother. Safe journey home, mate. Let's start with Anthony tonight. Anthony, your thoughts and your feelings on the game. And Bobby, if you want to push up the slides as you normally do, great. If not, there we go. So let's start with the lineup. Were you boys happy with the lineup? And we'll start with Anthony. Your thoughts and your feelings.
Lineup was good. I would have started Martinelli than Trossard, to be quite honest.
Okay.
I think lineup was good. Nkapia. If the rumours are true that he's going to be the first signing, in terms of him, coming over from Bayer Leverkusen, in terms of they agreeing that fee, even today, even though he messed up with the own goal. Other than that, he's been solid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So hats off to him. Hats off to him going forward. He's been solid. Like I said, I can't complain about the lineup really and truly. The only thing I'll just say is I would have started Martinelli this game. Trossard, I ain't gonna even bother speak about it till later on, but usual lineup. The way that I saw Chelsea, they had a lot of space, and the way that they played as well, they played the same formation that they played when we was in the the Carabao Cup.
Yes.
Palmer was having so much space. You know what I'm saying? Until we had to rejig. We had to rejig it going forward in terms of, him being picked up because he was the danger man for them. Let's be honest. Obviously 3 points in the bag. All the attackers, Gyökeres doing his little 1-2s going forward, but it's just like, from what I was watching, there was opportunities for Trossard to play the ball to Gyökeres, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You're passing it back or stopping it going forward. Even then, Cappy had a chance to, to pass it to Gyökeres. So I can't blame Gyökeres, going forward because he was, after the back of the game that he had the other day, I thought today, that, he'll get on the score sheet again. But that left-hand side, it was absolutely atrocious. I ain't scratching, I ain't gonna lie. The whole attacking guys, non-existent today. Just like, our two defenders had to score.
Yeah.
That just speaks volumes. I'm saying we know how good the defenders are when it comes to set piece and all that, but again, that left-hand side was non-existent today. Gyökeres could not get into the game. Eze, he looked like he was non-existent in this game as well. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we've got the points. We move on to Wednesday's game going forward. Get another 3 points. Get 7 points clear and keep it moving. But what can I say?
No, fair. You bring up some fair points there, valid points in if we're going to isolate this game as it is for today in the 95, 96 minutes that we played. Geeks, your thoughts and your feelings on the lineup and a quick brief on the game?
Yeah, sure. We're going to go through the individual scores in a little bit, aren't we?
Yes,
so
we will.
I'll save some bits for that. I felt there was something wrong with our formation today in terms of if you I was just when Anthony was talking, I was replaying certain bits in my head when we were trying to press them in their box. They always seem to have space on the wings, and then somehow Palmer kept having space between our midfield. And what I was watching was Declan Rice was getting forward really high on the press. And that was kind of leaving a space, and Saliba kept getting forward as well, and that was great. And so I feel like there are things that we are doing that's putting stress on ourselves, where sometimes you could just be a little bit more zonal. That's into your area, like shout it out to your teammate. You've got one on, whatever it may be. I felt Zubi struggled today.
Yes.
Particularly in the first half to begin with. There was a couple of bits that just, it was giving me the EBGBs. I was like, oh, is it going to be one of those games? Hincapié on the own goal, I really don't think I can criticise him too much. It's a near post contact. It's just one of those things that can sometimes happen at corner. Other than that, the guy was immense for me. Gyökeres could have been tidier in his distribution of the ball, but overall with the service he had and all the rest of it, I haven't got many complaints because I just don't feel we was progressing the ball fast enough at certain times. So what Anthony was touching on, I felt like there were opportunities to play forward or play the ball through defenders, and we went sideways and we went out to the wings, and we was going down the right-hand side, which, to be fair, the right-hand side was causing them issues. If you think over, Saka was giving them problems. It wasn't like a scintillating performance where it was ending up with assists and shots on goals and all the rest of it, but it was predominantly causing problems. And then down the centre, there's good stuff that we was doing against Tottenham. I think the reality is going up against two operators like Enzo and Caicedo largely shut that down a little bit. That made that difficult, and you're not going to have the same joy against that midfield as you would a lot of other teams. So I felt like we got the job done, and I feel after playing a team 4 times now?
4 times this season
since December. They've had a real good look at us, and so how many times? Do you know what I mean? How many times?
That's a very good point.
And so it gets to that sometimes when teams play so often in quick succession, it can get real checkmatey sort of thing, like real stalemates. So it was overall, I'm very happy that we got the 3 points. I feel like we could have been a bit more positive with our play. We did. I felt like we was the better team in the second half, a bit sleepy at the beginning of the second, but overall, job done. We move.
Well said. I appreciate both of your thoughts and your feelings on the game. Moving on to the scores, we've been through that. Saliba scored in the 21st minute, Hincapié own goal in the 45 plus 2, and then Timber gets the winner in the 66th minute, and then I believe it was 5 minutes later, Pedro Neto got sent off, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think
poor challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, it was horrendous. So we're just going to break down a few of the stats. Arsenal 41%, Chelsea 59%.
Credit
Arsenal
to them.
Exactly. And
10 men, credit to them.
The thing is, with these stats, etc., I will come back to it, and I will. I'll give my piece when we get to the ratings.
Yeah.
Before I get to the ratings, I'll say my bit on the game. We've had 12 shots, I believe, Bobby. It was not 5 on target. Chelsea had 3 on target, 9 shots. 2 big chances for the Arsenal, 2 for Chelsea. 0 big chances missed. Chelsea had 2 corners, which was a surprise. But again, how the game played out, I wouldn't have thought Chelsea would have ended up with 10, and we end up with 5. To be honest, I thought that may have been the other way around. But as the game played out, it was the opposite way. Total shots 12. We've been through that. Block shots 4 to their 1. Hit the woodwork 0-0. Shots inside the box 7 to their 5. 5 shots outside the box to their 4. XG, obviously, Bill Bobby's massive on this, and rightly so. Expected goals 1.13 for the Arsenal. Chelsea 1.05, so very close on the overall XG there. In open play, Arsenal was 0.59 to Chelsea 0.3. And then from set plays, it was 0.54. Chelsea 0.75. Again, that showed obviously from the corners.
Well,
XG on target
as well, yeah.
2.2. Didn't feel like that for the Arsenal. On target for Chelsea 0.93. Very interesting. Passes completed. They had more possession. Again, another one of Bobby's bugbears. Accuracy of passing, that should be 86 plus. Yeah. And ours was 82 today compared to Chelsea's 88%, which was very good. Fair play to them. Own half passes, 141 to their 284. So a lot of their possession was in their
passing
own half.
Around the back.
It didn't feel like that. Obviously, in the game, in the moment, we're supporting our team. It didn't feel like that to me in bits of that game. Opposition half, 136, 137, much of a muchness. Accuracy on long balls, which surprises me. We beat them on that one, 49% to 43, even though they were hitting the channels quite often to get up the pitch and bypassing the midfield.
Coach, that was one thing we done really well today, was when the high ball went in, the player receiving the ball done extremely well with it. That was Nketiah, Gyökeres, Saka.
Yes.
Touch and control on the trying to spring over the top of that defence. I thought we'd done that well today.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
And then accuracy on crosses, 18% to their 22, but they did have 5 more corners. So that stat would be skewed by that. And then touches in the opposition box. Again, it did not feel like it going as the moments were going on in this game, Geeks and Anthony. But we had 29 touches to Chelsea's 14. But it just felt like Chelsea's moments were bigger. Yeah. And we had to make a last-ditch tackle or a block or a save by Raya, who was outstanding. Yeah. Defense, there we go. Moving into that nicely. Defense, 17 tackles to us, 20 for Chelsea. Interceptions, 5 to their 12, which was very, very important in their turnover play.
Indicates they had more defensive work, doesn't it?
Yes,
yeah, because
it does.
The first half, I think the first half that was the case.
Yeah.
Yes. Like as you said in the second half, Geeks, we started sloppily again.
We did.
And we got better as the half went on, but then obviously we went into our shell after the red card, but we'll come on to that. 19 clearances to their 22. Goalkeeper saves, again, this is again on the visual, on the eye.
Yeah.
Soraya made 4 saves, maybe 3 of those were outstanding, to be honest.
Yes.
And they made 3. Jules, another one that Bobby likes. He likes it to be at 55% plus. We were 50-50 on the Jules. Did that feel like that in the game, lads? Just briefly, just yes, no?
Yeah, just briefly. I think a bit because of their midfield and their forward line is quite good. I thought it was one of the things I want to talk about later because I don't think our defenders were very good.
Cool. Anthony, did you feel like the Jules were 50-50 or did you feel like Chelsea were winning them more? Because for me personally, before you answer that, buddy, I thought Chelsea were winning the second, third balls, especially in the final stage of the first half and in early stage in the second half.
No, for real. I think, like I was saying before, the way that their manager got them to play in terms of the way that they set up, you could see it's like they were winning, the duels, going forward. I was just like, every pass that we tried to do is either intercepted, going forward. So I'm kind of actually surprised by that, to be quite honest, because Chelsea look like yeah, you know, our passing today it wasn't
It
as
was off.
fluid and as
It was off.
sharp as it was. It
Yeah.
was just like there's a point that Gary Neville said that he hates when Arsenal do this. Like there was options, but we were just passing it backwards, sideways, and I was just like,
Yeah.
guys, what are you lot doing? Like when I see Saliba going up, and this is one of the things that annoys me is that Saliba's pushing up with the ball, and I'm like, Saliba, just play it. But again, there's Zubimendi in the midfield. Like he's got a tendency to either lose the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's got that tendency to lose the ball in the midfield or not do what he's supposed to do. And it's just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Do
We
you
can't
think
play like
that's
that.
that? Sorry to cut you there, buddy. Do you
Yeah.
think, with regards to Zubimendi, do you think that's because he's fatigued and
I
overplayed?
think he might be
Because he
tired.
wasn't doing that at the beginning of the season and during December.
Yeah, well, this is where, again, this is again where I have this when a manager irks
Yeah,
me.
we'll okay, hold that thought and then we'll do that when we get to the manager. But I just wanted to put that question into your head for later on, all right? Moving on to the ground jewels, 54% Arsenal won to 46 Chelsea.
Surprised
Interesting.
by that.
This
Very
surprises me.
surprised.
Obviously,
Yeah.
the eye test, the adrenaline, the emotion of the game takes over as football fans, as we know, and the stats are the facts. 38% aerial duels, 62% Chelsea. That is where we suffered, and a lot of that from what I felt personally, boys. It was more from the corners. It felt like Brentford at times. It felt like we were at the G-Tech and then we were panicking from the corners. But I felt Raya was a lot more aggressive with his approach today, and he bailed us out a couple of times, to be honest. Perfect dribbles, very interesting also. 43% to Chelsea's 13%. Did it feel like that in the game, or was that
I think
after the red
Martinelli might
card?
have helped. Let's be fair. I think Martinelli might have helped a lot with that in the
Obviously, we'll speak about the
half.
left-hand side. It was non-existent. Trossard, blimey, what the hell was that? But yes, moving on. What's Bobby got for us? Top performers: Timber, Gabriel, Raya, Saliba, Rice.
I disagree with that.
You could say
I would have put Nkapke all the way up.
These are our spine players.
Yeah.
And they're all the ones that perform. The ones that are on the periphery, the ones that are on the wings and the attack didn't really do it, as Anthony and Geeks, you said yourselves earlier. And the top performers ratings proves that, with Timber at 8.29 leading the way. Touches, Chabala, James, top 2, Caicedo, top 3 for Chelsea there, 86, 81 and 72. Yeah. And Sanchez. So again, that proves the stats,
at the back.
The XG, the possession, it was at the back. So very, very interesting. Now we go into the player ratings, and we will we'll rate the players that obviously started the game and the subs that came on. And we can have a quick mention on Chelsea if we do have time, and we can have a quick chat as Bobby's people are.
Well, I completely agree with the James on the 8, because he was their best player by distance, by an absolute resistance. I mean, he shut us down. I mean, we were talking about our left-hand side, but he's a big reason behind that as well.
Yeah, him and, what he did today, whipping some balls, it's just like, even when he's, even though he's a liability, you can see today the quality, when it comes to England, him and Declan Rice, that's going to be scary. You know what I'm saying? We know what Deckers can do. Yeah. We know what Deckers can do, but, I have to give credit to Reece James, even though he's been a sub-bit player going forwards, he was their best player by a country mile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but...
So, Coach, are you going to kick off with a rating?
Yeah, apologies for that, boys. I had a bit of a technical issue there, but I'm back. Yeah, you were talking about Reece James. I thought he had a solid game, to be honest.
Yeah, same
here.
And Chalobah did. I agree with that as well. I agree with whoever's done that ratings. Is that you, Bob? I agree with what you've done there.
Yeah, it's either Bobby or Bobby's people.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think the rate. I mean, we'll get onto the Chelsea ratings very briefly at the end.
Yep.
But David Raya, Geeks, we'll start with you.
Cool.
Because we're ahead of schedule, we can please. I'll give you both a chance to rate the player. So, Anthony, you will rate Raya as well and give your opinion on that. And we'll just go through the whole lineup, boys, and we'll just bounce between the two of you.
Raya, that was a match-winning performance with some of those saves. I mean, the one that was offside, I guess, doesn't even go against. That was an amazing double save. It ended up in the back of the net. But I mean, blimey, that shot from Garnacho that he thought was going to get, he was nearly moving in the other direction because he thought it was going to take a touch, and he palmed that round the post. That was just brilliant. There were times where I felt maybe towards the front post he was getting sucked a little bit. I was concerned with the early corner, the couple of corners, and then ultimately they done us at the back post, didn't they? And so for me, his distribution was very good today. Very frustrating that the ref about 2 or 3 times indiscriminately blew his whistle to stop play when we're on the break, particularly when we almost had Timber through. That's Raya's quick thinking. His claiming of the crosses is just such a confidence boost. He's shot stopping today. There was a couple of times I felt he could have come out a little bit quicker to get the ball. There was one time in the second half when the ball was right through our defence and he left it, and it was like in the end he kicked it out for a throw-in, and I felt like there was just a couple of sharper moments he could have been, but I'm going to give him an 8 because overall, really, really good game.
Anthony, anything you want to add on Raya's performance there that Geeks has mentioned, or you just want to give the rating and we keep it moving and you get
No, I ain't gonna lie, Raya, obviously, he's been a keeper that we've been after for years, even before we got Ramsdale, and you could see the quality in terms of, when it comes to saves that he's done, in the past, and even today, that save that he did, even though Pedro was offside, I said, it's just like, for me, he has to be man of the match today, without question. He commanded the box, obviously, like Geeks was saying, his distribution was well, and it's just, you can feel, there's a breath of fresh air, that, Ray is there, he's doing his thing. So, he'll get 8 for me, boy.
Can I just say one other thing on Raya? Over the last 4 years, boys, name me a keeper that has got a better highlights reel that would have a longer run time than Raya in the Premier League. Right now,
we might have to put that on another show, mate.
Yeah, for
but
real.
Do you know where I'm coming from, though?
For sure.
His highlight reel is ridiculous.
You know me, I'm going to get involved in this rating. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 because what was on the line, lads? What was on the line?
Yeah, definitely.
The way he was making those saves, the way he was screaming at his defense in the 92nd minute to say, come on, like what it was that passion, that raw emotion. When he first came to the club, it was, nah, we got Ramsdale, we got this. I've been watching this guy grow and flourish as a Premier League football player at Brentford Football Club. I've got season tickets there if you don't know. And this kid, I always said I wanted him at Arsenal at some point.
One of the best in
the
world.
when we went in there for him, I had no issues with him coming. And he's got better and better and better. And today, if we win the league, it's because of him. Yeah, because that performance today is like a David Seaman against Layman.
I'll say
It's in that bracket when you're not. Exactly. When your attack is not doing well, your defense and your keeper especially bail you out. And he bailed us out because that could have easily been 2-2 and even 3-2 if it wasn't for David Raya today. And the confidence, I was going to say this later, but I don't want to forget. This victory is a huge, huge confidence boost for this squad of players. Not for the fans, but for the players. Because this is, I'm hoping this will be the catalyst to make them believe that we can win this thing. And if we have to grind it out, it's not going to end up like Wolves. But as fans, we're looking at it from, blimey, if we keep conceding chances like this and keep making odd passes like we are, we're not going to deliver and get the 9 wins that we require to win this league. because that's what it's come down to, lads. I know I've
Yeah.
gone a bit early on that, but I just didn't want to forget that point. And it ties well with the man of the match, which is David Raya. 10 out of 10 from me, 8 out of 10 from the boys. Timber, Anthony, what do you think? Performance?
Yeah, you know, can't really fault him today. You know, obviously Timber, you know, I've said it all along. When he came in, I said that he's going to snatch Ben White's chain. And again, you know, another, you know, great performance by him. You know, obviously we know that Timber loves square when it comes to, you know, when it comes to set pieces. You know that he's going to, if it's not Gabby or Saliba, you know that Timber is the next one who's going to put in the back of the net. You know, he had a good game today. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, you know, him out of the pitch where sometimes I'm like, why are you in the penalty area? There's certain games I'm thinking there's no need for you to be in the penalty area at times because it's just so congested. You've got Gyökeres in there, you've got Saka in there, you've got Eze in there, Martinelli in there. So you've got, 5 players in the box. So certain times I feel that you don't need to be in there. But today, you know, obviously after the back of the, you know, the City game, this was, you know, we needed this victory. And again, you know, Timber for me gets a 9. You know what I'm saying? It's just like another standout performance going forward. So I can't fault him, you know what I'm saying? Like he did what he did what he needed to do. You know, him linking up with Saka on our right hand side as per usual, getting into the right spaces, you know, when it came to the final third, you know, he was always there causing a nuisance. So yeah, hats off to him, man.
Fair play. Geeks, your thoughts on Timber? Anything to add on what Anthony's just said there?
I love him. He is one of 4 players, along with Raya, Gabby, and Rice, for my player of the Arsenal season. You know, Arsenal player of the season. The thing about Timber that always is impressive is you watch him when it comes to defending corners. He's always on the big bloke. He's got such a spring in him. He's got such a spring in him.
He's a machine. He's so strong as well.
He is. I think we all agree that when it comes into the attacking third, he could find a little bit more consistency in his quality.
Definitely.
And that ability to play the ball in. But his ability and willingness to play that ball in the attacking third and what he does offer in terms of shoring up Saliba. And you've got to remember, like, I feel like Saliba inside of him has been a bit iffy. Saka in front of him hasn't been the best at tracking back and defending. He's got a lot of work to do on that right-hand side, and he's so good defensively. So, yeah, without a doubt, he is a 9 for me today.
Fair. William Saliba, Geeks, needs to improve his heading. Did he improve on that today? Aerial abilities?
No, he didn't.
Anthony's got his hands in his head.
No, man. To the point of, I think at some point we have to have a conversation about Mosquera coming into the team. I know that sounds crazy. I know some people will be like, we're in the nuts and bolts part of the season. There are just times when he lets the ball bounce, and he got beaten by the bounce today in the match. And I'm like, oh, and
that's
not only that, I do wish there was a tactical cam, because there was times, you know, when Rice was going, as I've mentioned, joining the press up front, that was creating a gap in midfield. And I feel like sometimes Saliba there was a couple of times that I noticed he tracked his attacker into the midfield when he didn't really need to. And so then Rice at times dropped back into defence, and I don't want Rice there, and I don't want Saliba there. And this is something that Anthony touched on, and I've beaten this drum repeatedly. I want my attackers doing the attacking, and I want my defenders doing the defending. And I think sometimes we get caught around, and this is why stupidness happens. For me today, I don't feel like it was his best performance. His duels,
scored the goal.
Yeah, he did score a goal. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah. Be honest.
It was a 6 for me, and if it was a goal scorer, maybe a 7.
Fair.
But I'm going back to 6. I'm saying a 6. Sorry, guys. That's how I saw it.
Awesome. I can't really disagree with either of you in terms of positioning, letting the ball bounce over his head, things like that. Uncharacteristic mistakes that he's making. He's winning the duels, but he's on the ground.
Yes,
as you've said,
on the ground,
in the
world
past.
class. Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see that the analysis that we've been doing on the regular shows that we've been doing, it is coming to fruition, and it's very strange, boys. I don't understand where his aerial ability is gone. For a guy that's 6'4", I don't know. Is he trying to make sure that his hair stays in place, or I don't know what he's doing? But he's a good-looking lad. But come on, boys, he needs a bit of Martin Keown down on the training ground with him.
Has he got some plugs taking root or something? I don't know.
There we go. Just down below, have a look, boys. In the comments, Bobby has written it down for us.
Well, there we go. That's what I was feeling. Yeah, that's
what the eye test was showing. 33% is not acceptable.
Bob. That's awesome stats.
It's not acceptable that Saliba is 33% in the air, especially when you're up against who was up front for them, Pedro Neto. Pedro,
that's
sorry.
The thing. Pedro. João Pedro, and then Cole Palmer and players like that. You shouldn't be losing your duels to those. You're more physical.
And I did say on a couple of streams ago that Mosquera needs to be in this defense. I don't know where in the line or for, but he needs to play somewhere. And at the moment, if Gabby's not making a mistake, which we're going to come on to in a second, it's Saliba.
Yeah.
So at the moment, there's no consistency there, and we're not keeping clean sheets. Moving on to Big Gabby, geeks.
Big Gabs, I felt, was the better of the two centre backs. I always worry a little bit with his distribution. Because there are times when he does play forward. There was like today he played a lovely ball that split. Was it him that split the defence?
I believe it was. Anthony,
and then
was that split pass? That was Big Gabby, I think.
Yeah.
Please do let us know in the comments. There was lots going on in this game.
He feels like he's better with the duels, and he's a defender that loves defending. So automatically, I don't know. I'm in a better headspace with him, and it could be that's a bit of bias on my part. I felt like he dealt with the game better, so I'm going to give him a 7.
Down below, geeks, have a look at that.
So marginally better. Ground duels 80, that's phenomenal. And then aerial duels 40. It's something they both need to work on. It's almost like they're trying to do too much defending with their feet sometimes, and they're leaning back in the duel rather than imposing their top half, planting their feet a little bit.
Yeah, like Mosquera does.
Yeah. And if you watch Mosquera, he uses that frame beautifully, and he really gets on. Yeah. I just feel like there's something about their frame, how they get too close sometimes to it's like you just need to get into it a bit more.
But the thing is, lads, they're big lads. They got Van Dijk physiques. They're big, imposing figures at the back. So is it, again, we'll have this in mind when we speak about Arteta. Is Arteta asking and forcing, which it looks like it is to me, for Saliba to push in high into that midfield at times, depending on the opposition, which then leaves others vulnerable around him? And then are they practicing enough aerially on the training ground? That's another topic for another day, I guess. Anything to add on, Anthony, on Big Gabby? That's already been said.
Not his. We've seen Gabby. I don't know. Today it just looked a bit off with both of both pairings. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Like, Saliba and Gabriel. They're the best. They're the best in the world. Let's keep it real. They are the best in the world. But today, it wasn't like their cool, calm, collective performance that I've seen them in the past. So, like I said, I think it's because the way that Chelsea saw, because don't forget the way that Chelsea played in the Carabao Cup, the semi-final, that formation that the manager used, I think that had something to do with it as well going forward. So, we just got to keep moving. We just got to keep moving, really and truly. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
100%.
They did what they needed to do, but they can do better. You know what I'm saying? So, couple of days, we're playing. I don't know who we play. Is it
Brighton on Wednesday?
So we're playing. So again, that's going to be another test for them. But here's what it is.
Just a quick one. Bobby's just put in the chat there. Gabriel had an XA of 0.57 today. He had 8 passes into the final third today compared to Saliba's XA of 0 and only 3 passes into the final third.
Yeah.
That's very interesting considering Saliba is meant to be the ball playing centre half out of the two.
Yeah.
But then again, if he's getting pinned and he's being asked to run into midfield and track it, follow the striker all the way in, then that's going to put him off his game. But there's no excuse for him to be weak in the aerial duels. Bobby, it'd be good to actually find out from you, if you, with your experience in the game and the stats that you do, what is the average aerial duel percentage that a centre half should have? So if you could find that out, because if Big Gabby's at 40% and Saliba's at 33%, where's the average? Because then it'd be easier to compare then, to be like, okay, they're underperforming, overachieving, they're mid. Do you know what I mean? Moving swiftly on to Hincapié, geeks.
I don't know. You might disagree with me, but I actually think from a defensive point of view today, he was our best defender. I really rate this guy. Is he able to play against Leverkusen? Because he's on loan.
Yes, he is.
Right. Okay. This guy for me he just looks so solid in defense. The things that he does, the way he kind of tracks back, gets a nick on the block. There was a time when he appeared over on the right-hand side with the crucial interception. He comes in clutch all the time. He's never that final ball playing sort of guy, but he does so well as well, for his sides and all the rest of it. He's not inept with the ball. He's still got a little bit of techers about him, not
South
amazing,
American
but
flair.
Yeah, absolutely. And I rate this guy very, very highly. He gets a solid 8 from me. I know I gave him a higher, but he got the goal, so.
No, I totally agree with that. 8 or 9. 8 or 9 would be sufficient. Anthony, are you there, my brother?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Anything to add on what Geek said regarding Hincapié?
Our old defenders besides Timber. Again, I've been raving about this guy for years when he was at Bayer Leverkusen. I've watched him at Bayer Leverkusen. I'm like, one, to keep Calafiori out of the team, that's saying a lot. Because, when Calafiori is there, Calafiori is a maverick. we know what Cala can do, but, minus the, the own goal, the interceptions that I saw him do today was just like, yeah, what I'm saying? It's just like, hats off. Yeah, what I'm saying? Hats off to him. What I'm saying? He's still young. He's still learning his trade, but, obviously, I know there's a
season in the Prem. Oh.
Yeah, I know there's rumors about, that we're going to be exercising that £55 million and he's going to be our first permanent signing going forward. So you can see that's money well spent in regards to him being that left, him essentially being that left back going forward, because today he was just like, running up and down. When I saw, let me see, he was on the right hand side for Chelsea.
Was it Neto?
Nah,
Was it Neto, or they've got, who else they got on if we got the list here? Palmer, João Pedro. I think it must have been Neto, no? On the right.
I think it was Neto. There's some of the tackles that I saw him displacing, to get ahead of Neto, and we know that Neto on his day, barring today, he did well. So
no fair. You want to give him a mark out of 10?
Yeah, I'll give him an 8, solid 8 out of 10.
Okay, cool. Moving on to Zubi. This is going to be interesting, lads. Anthony, start with that one, mate.
He didn't, for some reason, he didn't look comfortable today.
No spot on.
At the start of the season, he was, comfortable, but like I said, and we'll touch on this later in terms of the manager, because he's playing too much, I think he's starting to creep in and starting to catch up with him. There's,
mental.
Even that loose pass that he did to Raya, and I was just like,
oh my goodness.
What I'm saying? And we've seen him do it before. And
Man United,
exactly.
We played Man U in my head. I was like,
what I'm saying? So I'm just like, today, he did okay, but not his best. Not one of his best performances.
Yeah.
That midfield is just like, obviously Declan Rice was going up forward, and then obviously Declan Rice was coming back into the centre half, and then obviously Zubi and Eze was going up, and I was just like, yeah. So for me, I'm going to be harsh. I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10 today.
No
I know we don't do
0.5,
half.
brother.
I know we don't do half scores, but today
So it's a 6 then.
He'll get a 6 today.
No problem.
Get a 6 today.
Geeks, anything to add on what Anthony said about Zubi?
I think it's definitely mental fatigue. I think it's a little bit
Yes.
crazy when we've got an operator like Norgard.
Norgard.
We've got Miles on the bench that can play the left 8. It's his natural position. It's like, come on, what are we doing here? I know they're up against a world-class midfield in Enzo and Caicedo, but Zubi was really, he suffered today. And the thing about Zubi, the caveat that I'll give is the stuff that he does in the team is sometimes not spectacular enough to give a 7 and an 8, but he's been really good. Breaking up play, little passes, positioning, and all the rest of it. So he does a lot of things that goes under the radar of football fans that you can say that was great play today. But today, the things that can lift his game, like he had a shot and he blazed it over, and the pass back to Raya, for me, it was no way near good enough. When we made the Trossard sub, I would have brought on Norgard at that point. That's honestly where I was with it. For me, it's a 5. It was a 5. It was a bad day at the office for him.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you boys. Underwhelming performance by his standards. I'd give him a 4 or 5 out of 10. I'd go with a 5. This kid's quality. Adding onto what Geeks and Anthony was saying. I believe he's a bit like Gilberto Silva, isn't he? Under the radar, clean with his passing, etc. But yes, it's his first season. He's 24 years old in the Premier League. He's doing a great job for us. Thank God Raya got to that ball, because obviously everyone would be giving him pelters. It would have been undeserved as well. But it's just mental fatigue is kicking in. We'll come on to the manager later on and discuss that in a bit more detail, but we'll leave it there for now. So Zubi's given 5s and 6s out of 10. Moving on to Declan Rice, Geeks.
I don't feel this was Declan's best game either.
No.
But then against the opponents that it was like that. I think, again, we're talking about mental fatigue, right? And physical fatigue with Rice, because he's engine and what he does and the distance he covers every single game. Head on a swivel all the time, dropping into defence, dropping into attack, whatever he needs to do, screening that left-hand side. That moment where he should have just played the ball out or lumped it back forward, and he gave away a free corner. Hopefully he's fit. I would have liked over the next run to we'll come into, I guess, on the manager and what we're going to do. But we've got Brighton next and then Macclesfield before Leverkusen. And I would like to see some rotation with the centre midfielders.
Yep.
For me, considering who he was up against, he went off injured. I would say that was a 6 or 7. 6 or 7. What was that? There's just so many things that he does. He pops up and he gets on the ball and he does it, all those little bits. No, I'm going to go 6.
No, fair.
I'm going to go 6.
Because again, before Anthony jumps onto Rice, the reality is we've got a world-class midfield as well. But they're getting overplayed, and we'll come on to that later, because he done a similar thing against Spurs and they scored.
Yeah.
But it was a different angle, a different area of the pitch. Instead, the ball went out for a corner, and when the Spurs players intercepted it, it ended up being a goal. So that's 2 games in a row with a week's rest in between. Yeah. So is that 1 week?
Bobby said it last stream. We're always bad after a week's rest.
Yeah. So some players don't like to have a week off. Some players like to play every 3-4 days. So let's hope that is the case with these two, because they got a massive few weeks ahead for the Arsenal. Anthony Rice?
You touched on it. Yeah, no, you touched on it going forward. Man of the match performance on the ref. Again, this is the second.
Big up, Chris.
The second game where, like I said, and I've been spewing this. If Declan Rice gets injured, we're royally screwed in that midfield. Like, you can say that, yeah, we've got Mourinho, but unfortunately, even though I do have about Mourinho, but you could see it today, like some of the loose passes that, even the one back to Rare, where that's where, I believe that's where he picked up the injury. It's just like there's certain things that he didn't need to do. He didn't need to do. And again, obviously we're touching it later because I've got so much to say about, Arteta in terms of rotation and all that going forward. And, obviously if we had someone else in that left 8 position, to take him off, bringing him on, bring the MLS on, going forward, or even a Norgard. For me, he gets a 6.
Okay,
cool.
cool.
I'm saying, he gets a 6 today.
Bobby, back into the chat. The best of the best in aerial duels average 70% across Europe. Saliba is at 52.9% in the air, while Big Gabby is at 64.7%.
That says what we've been saying. Bobby, what's mascara out? Are you able to check that for us? Sorry, mate.
That'll be
if you're
interesting.
able to. Yeah.
While Bobby's doing that, we'll move on to Eberiche Eze, Anthony.
After the performance against Spurs, I thought he would have kicked on today. Yeah. And again, it's just like he had a couple of good moments, but not the level of the Spurs game. By no means. By no means. Today it was just like, yes, obviously, the way that Chelsea set up, you can say, yeah, but I just felt like, me personally, I would have started Kai this game. Or, instead of taking off Gyökeres, I'd have taken off Eze and I brought on Kai. Going for, I would have brought on Kai because to me, I think, Eze, people are saying, oh, yeah, when it comes to the latter stages of the Premier League, that's where Eze shines. He has one great game, and then you're saying, yeah, he's going to kick on. And then today is just like, brother, I could hardly see if he's on the pitch. Like, you flashed up in one or two couple of good moments, but then it's like, you go missing for the game. You know what I'm saying? So,
but do you think that's down to obviously the opposition? Because we all knew last week Spurs are bang average.
Spot on.
Spurs are not the greatest. So we have to analyze maybe as well as the player, maybe the opposition that we're playing and how they set up will also determine our players' performances. But that's no excuse for him, as you said, Anthony, for him to be not producing a little bit more than he is.
Yeah. He, regardless of the fact of, obviously the way that Chelsea set up, yes, that's one factor. But again, we've seen for him at Crystal Palace when he plays against Chelsea, he's always been a thorn in their side. Or every game has been a thorn in their side. But today was just like non-existent today. And I'm like, bro, I've watched you play against Chelsea when he's at Crystal Palace. You and Mateta would rip them to shreds. But today is just like, there was nothing there, because obviously he had that chemistry with Gyökeres against Spurs. We've seen him kind of have a chemistry with Gyökeres going forward. And today I just felt like...
Yeah, he does.
I just felt like, not the best game. So for me, I'll give him a 6.
And before Geeks come in there, 6. Okay, that's fine. What I would say, you're not wrong in what you're saying, Anthony, and I totally agree with your analysis of Eze there in this game and the stop-start season that he's had in terms of GA, etc., chances created and so on. We also have to be very careful when we are assessing these players if they play for Sporting, if they play for Crystal Palace, because teams set up totally differently.
Yeah.
And they're at the Arsenal now. So it's
Yeah.
a massive club. And as you boys know, with the experience that you've watched football and all the years, teams will play differently against us. So he needs to find solutions as well as the manager to get the right combinations. But he's getting his chances now.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
for me personally, if Havertz wasn't fit enough to make the bench today, we may have seen Odegaard on the bench. Do you know what I mean? But because we've got Eze and Havertz, that's why Odegaard's probably sitting on the side and slowly bringing Odegaard back in, because we probably rushed him back with his knee, if that makes sense.
Well, the rumors I'm hearing is that Odegaard could be out for the whole season. I don't know if Bobby wants to share any light and if that's true or not. But
okay, I didn't know that.
I just saw a couple of I don't know how, because obviously it was on X. I don't know how true they are, and someone put up in the chat as well on the Discord. I don't know if he's if he's out for the whole season, or he wasn't fit for this game. But so I don't know if Bobby, if he can just confirm what the latest on with Odegaard, is he scheduled to be back anytime soon, or what's the situation regarding it? But
that would be a shame if that is the case, because
it would be.
Whether Odegaard's on form or not, he's great to have on the bench and in the squad.
Yeah, definitely, because again, in terms of the pressing aspects as well, I think that's one thing that obviously Eze will need to work on next season in terms of his pressing game, because when Odegaard comes on, Odegaard is the one who presses the players, the opposition. If if they lose the ball, the only good thing, well, one or two good things I can say about Eze is that, Odegaard, is that when it comes to pressing, he does that. And I think, with Eze, I think he needs to work on that aspect a bit more. But today you need to do something different, mate. If what you're doing at Spurs, that works, because obviously the way that Spurs played, Chelsea are a bit more compact in that midfield. So try something different. But, again, not the greatest performance. So
no, fair play. Well said, mate. Geeks, anything to add on what Anthony said there?
Yeah, more mitigating circumstances for him. I feel like the way Eze's position that he takes up in the team against Chelsea, kind of, he isn't afforded the space, and he couldn't get as close to Gyökeres as he did versus Spurs. And I think that's a big issue for how effective he can be. And particularly if we've got Caicedo and Enzo operating in the centre of Chelsea's midfield, we're more inclined to go around. And it's back to kind of the critique I've said sometimes with the team. Gyökeres and Eze will sometimes be centre, and he was picking up, Eze was picking up space, but we was going around down the sides a little bit more rather than through and using him. There was a couple of bits of interplay. The ball got caught up on his feet, couldn't quite break for him. There was a lovely interchange between him and Saka on the right at one point. But again, it was a game where it passed him by a little bit. He couldn't get into it. I would say 6 as well.
Okay, cool. And Geek, Saka?
He had his moments, didn't he? For me, I still want to see him working harder in defence. There was like a moment when on the edge of the Chelsea box, it felt like it could have come to Saka, right? And it didn't quite get there. It was like 2 yards short, got into, I can't remember what it was. And he just didn't go after it. And he basically walks and watched Chelsea run away from him and have an attack. And that's when I kind of want to see him get back into recovery position, kind of help out the team a little bit more. So I feel like he's got more work to do defensively, but that's not what we've got him in the team for. What's he doing in attack? I felt he's getting better with Gyökeres, Eze and Timber.
Yeah, I see that.
He's still trying to cut in. I feel his shots have. Does it feel like his shots have dried up?
They
trying to find that
feel
space.
like they have on the eye test anyway.
Yeah. And I just feel like he's not getting that off as much, but then the man's doubled up all the time. So again, there was a couple of times when he actually went to the byline and he created a few issues then, playing the ball across, trying to get, and I think he's just got to, when it's kind of like he can't cut in, he's got to find another route to goal sometimes. I think sometimes have that shot, trying to shoot with the outside of your boot a little bit to kind of bend it. You know what I mean?
sure.
Trying to put the ball into a bit more of tricky areas. I just want to see a little bit more from him, but he does occupy the defence. Generally, our best play will come down his flank. So today, what do we reckon? He gets did he get an assist from the corner? He did, didn't he?
Quite
fast. 6, 7,
You can give him that. Yeah, it's up to you. You gave
Did
me
it feel
7?
like a 7 performance? I don't feel like it was.
Be honest, brother.
I'm going to go 6. I don't feel like it was a 7.
No way.
Wasn't
Just because of
quite enough
time.
there.
Fine. Just because of time, Anthony. Just give me a rating for Saka, and then we'll move on to Trossard, mate. Out of
7.
10. 7? Okay, cool. Trossard lands on your doorstep, Anthony. Don't be too long on this one. We got a segment on Arteta coming through.
Worst performance I've seen this guy today.
Yeah.
There was a couple of times where Gyökeres was free and he's like passed the ball, and even in the first half, him and Nkapie was running down the left-hand side, and Nkapie passed it to Trossard, and Gyökeres was making a run. But instead of him feeding Gyökeres, he decided to play it back, and it's just like today he was just like, yeah, bro, like what are you doing? Like seriously,
100%.
what you doing? Like what you doing? Like I'd have hooked him off at halftime and brought Martinelli. That's how shocking he was today. Brutally. I'll be, brutally honest. For me, he gets a free. He gets a free.
The same.
He gets a free.
Okay.
He gets a free. He gets a free today. He was shocking. He's trying to do too much, like trying to take on players. Even when I think there was an opportunity when he got the ball and Declan Rice was running and he passed it to Chelsea player. I'm like, bro, come on, you're better than that.
Oh my god.
We've seen you play better than this, but yeah, he gets a free for me today.
No, fair play, and I agree with your score on Trossard. Geeks score for him.
I was going to say 5, but I'll go 4. That's swipe next. Fine. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, fine. And VG, Victor Gyökeres. For me, just quickly on VG, I'll give him a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Hold up play, running into the channels. Didn't really receive the ball like you boys have said regards Trossard. Looks like he's looking a bit sharper. His first touch is improving. I'm going to give him a 7, just for effort and the stuff that he should be doing well. He did well in this game, I think. Yeah. He didn't get a lot of chances in the game, but he held it up. He fought with the defenders, tried to get the players up the pitch.
Ran at them. Yeah.
Ran at them. Trossard, what did he do? On more than one occasion, he could have released Gyökeres and he never. So that's why I'm giving him a 7.
Okay.
Boys, let's go with Geeks.
No, Gyökeres. I agree with that. I felt like there's only a couple of times the ball got away from him, which is one of his biggest problems this year. In terms of what he can control. Yes. But the team have just got to start giving this guy chances. What chances did we create from him?
9 today. No,
nothing.
So what he done well. So I'll go with the 7 because I feel like there is a unit around him that I've got to feed this guy. Don't feed him. What you expecting?
Awesome, Anthony. Within 30 seconds a minute. Gyökeres?
No, the same 7. Obviously, hold up play today was good. Again, running into the channels. He could have had a chance and goal, but I think it was Chalobah that blocked it and it went over to Saka. So, again, he was making all the right runs, but again, we know that you give him the ball 9 times out of 10 it's in the back of the net, but today he didn't get the service that was required going forward. So, for me, he gets a 7 for the individual work that he did. On the ball, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And that just shows, boys, how far he has come from August to now for us to rate him at that point. So, fair play to Gyökeres. He's on the right trajectory. And let's hope he can bag a couple against Brighton on Wednesday night against his old club. Mosquera is on 38.5%. Again, on the eye,
that's surprising.
It feels like he's
should be more
higher than that. So, it's very interesting how the stats go. Bobby, again, there is a rumor using certain needs to gain engagement regarding Odegaard. He is not on my injured list. They have 24 hours to update it, so I will update on Tuesday. And that's going to be our preview show for Brighton. Just quickly, just a stand-up performance from Chelsea, my personal opinion. I thought James was good for them. I thought the engine room, as we said on the preview on Friday, Caicedo, Santos, Enzo was going to be full of energy, full of running, full of spite. We got to win these second and third balls as well going forwards in these games, because that's
I've got to say,
havoc.
Sorry, just going to say, Sanchez a 5 is generous. That should be a 2.
Yeah, if Chelsea were to get a very good goalie,
he was the worst player on the pitch.
Yeah, for
if
real.
If Chelsea buy a quality keeper in the summer, they are going to be a
problem. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then Neto head loss. And let's move on. Let's try to wrap this boys up in the next 5-10 minutes max.
Yeah, sure.
Mikel Arteta, Anthony, the floor is yours, mate.
Where do I begin? Again, in terms of the midfield, like I've been saying this, what is the point of you buying Norgard? And again, there are rumours that Norgard's, again, Bobby, I don't know if you can tell me how reliable this is, but again, I've been seeing reports that Norgard's, he's looking to cut because he's not been playing that much. And I've always said it, what is the point in you buying Norgard if you're not going to use him? Norgard reminds me of El Neni. Regardless of the fact of what people thought about El Neni, he came in, does the job. Today was, a situation where Rice had to come off, Norgard come on. But again, Norgard needs to be utilised a bit more, because I feel like Zubimendi, he looks like he's burning out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because he's been overplayed. And again, this is my irk with the manager. Like, you need to rotate your team better in terms of the midfield, because we're light in the midfield in terms of, obviously Ethan's, away at Marseille. We can't, recall him back. You've got MLS, who's on the bench as well, who even give him a little run out as well, because you know what he can do. He can drive forward with the ball in that midfield. That's his, that's his preferred position going forward. And I think this manager, he's overly heavily reliant on Zubimendi and Rice. Now, let's pray that Rice is not injured going forward, because that will really be a kick in the teeth. Marino's out. We don't want our our guy who's the man who's the engine in that midfield out as well. So I think for the next run of games, I want to see Norgard starting, against, Brighton on Wednesday. He definitely has to start Norgard. Give Zubimendi the rest, rotate him, play Norgard, because we know that he can do a job. We've seen when he comes on how solid he is. He's got the experience. He's been Brentford's captain for the past how many seasons?
5-6 years.
You know what I'm saying? Use him use him. He's there, innit? Don't just let him waste away on the bench. Use him.
The best way we can describe Norgard quickly is when he came on in the 75th, 76th minute, did you look out of place?
No,
he doesn't. Like I said, he doesn't look out of place.
Did he physically shirk any challenges in his duels?
No.
So for me personally, as a sub appearance, with the pressure on the game and playing the 20 minutes he did, I know we didn't rate the subs, but I'd give him a 6 or a 7.
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah, Martin, all the subs would have got a 6
from me. He came off for Declan Rice, so that's a big. Yeah. They're big boots to fill, and I didn't feel like in those last 15 minutes we were missing Rice's legs in the midfield. So as Anthony has pointed out, Mikel has to rotate better, and especially in the engine room, and he's got to give minutes to Norgard, because he could actually be one of those unsung heroes.
Absolutely.
That in the run-in, he actually plays 2 or 3 games to give your Rice a break for the Champions League and actually get us over the line in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
Geeks, anything more to add on Arteta? What's your rating there, Anthony? Sorry, I didn't ask Anthony for his rating out of 10 for this particular game.
7.
Okay, 7 out of 10. Needs to rotate more. Is that a solid summary of what you're getting at?
Yeah, I would have just turned around, and with Norgard, we do need to start playing him. I would not rotate for Brighton. I would start, then bring on, And then Macclesfield, you start
Macclesfield's right.
Miles in the midfield and Norgard.
Yeah.
But because then you could then go into Leverkusen and they've had over a week off again. And that's 2 weeks around a couple of games.
Fair.
So that's what we need to do. He needs to get better. And I think it's just picking up what Bobby has said there. It's how he is managing these guys outside of game time. He needs to.
Are you boys? So 7 out of 10 for both of you, Rig, for Arteta.
Got the result.
Are you boys happy with the midfield of our game? We'll discuss this on Tuesday in the preview. But as we're on the topic of Norgard and midfield and Rice's potential injury, hopefully it's crampers, nothing else. Norgard in the 6, Zubi in the 8.
I would have
preferred
and Eze
in the 10.
I would have preferred to rest Zubi and have him with Rice and Norgard, because I feel like Zubi needs it. But the injury does change it, so we have to protect Rice.
I would bring in MLS left 8, because obviously we know that you having that experience midfielder in Norgard, having him there, you know what I'm saying, won't put a foot wrong. You know, we
That's
know what, you know what I'm saying, have that experience there. MLS, you definitely need to play him. You know what I'm saying? If you definitely need to play him. If he has any outside chance of getting called up to the England squad, which personally I don't see it happening, I would still play him for, you know, the next 2 games coming forward. And then when we play Bayer Leverkusen, Rice and Zubimendi, they're fresh, they're ready for that game there, because obviously that's going to be a big game for us going forward. But
need to win it in the first game,
for the next 2 minutes, not the next 2 minutes, the next 2 games, you know, Rice and Norgard and, you know, MLS coming for them to, you know what I'm saying, we've got the quality. You know, we have got the quality. You know, if you want to play Eze, if you want to play Havertz on Wednesday as well, which I think we should, you know, start Havertz for that game, start Jesus for that game, and then bring on players that we need to bring on. So, you know, I'm not going to, you know, oohing and eyeing about, you know, Zubimendi and Rice not playing that game. They need a rest. They look knackered. Rice especially, he looks knackered. And then obviously he's got to go to the World Cup.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
the burnout will be officially there.
You know what I'm saying? Burnout will be officially there when it comes to the World Cup. Like, you know, so yeah.
No, fair play, boys. I agree with you. 7 out of 10 is a fair mark, I'd say, for this game. Obviously, it's a massive game. For me, this is the London derby, not Spurs. Spurs is, for me, is like Spurs is like West Ham, Crystal Palace, Fulham. Chelsea, Arsenal is the rivalry that I grew up on.
Derby.
This is the London derby. When it went to 1-1 today, my heart was pounding. I was fuming. I didn't get that last week when it was Spurs. You understand what I'm saying? So we've won the London derby, north, west, south, it don't matter. This is the London derby, and this is the marker. Now we have to go and follow it up against Brighton on Wednesday night. Listen, boys, I appreciate you lads coming on a Sunday night and talking football with us. Always love to you geeks, and Anthony as well. He's been asking me for a while to come on, so I appreciate you coming on, my boy.
Cheers, mate.
Yes, Bobby, do your thing. End of the stream. We've come to the end. Anthony, floor is yours, mate.
Obviously, you guys can find me on, you know, the Football Takeover. You know, when I can jump on, I jump on. And on X as well, you know, so, and Discord that, you know, we've got running as well. So if you guys want to, you know, catch me on there, I'm always on there here. When I can get on, I'll get on. But yeah, that's about it in terms of where I'm at, really and truly.
Awesome. Appreciate you, mate. Geeks?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, Anthony, for coming on and talking with us. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can find me here on the Football Takeover. Come on, you Arsenal.
And it's me, Coach Ali. Here we are. 3 points, massive points. I got a few more grey hairs after that 96 minutes of football this afternoon. Bobby, love you as always, my man. Appreciate you behind the scenes. I hope you're recovering well. Mr. G, I hope you're well. And we look forward to having you back on Tuesday. That will be the preview show for Brighton, and then that game will be taking place on the Wednesday. Please do share, like, and subscribe, as the boys have said. And you can follow, you can get us on in Discord on, if you just message or DM whatever it is on X, G Talks Arsenal, and he will guide you, or even Football TK Over X account, which I'm on, and we will guide you in the way to get onto our Discord. Please do go give us a follow, like, and share, like I've said. And we are also on X, TikTok, and Instagram, Football TK Over. Thank you all very much. Appreciate you all in the chat. Please do share your comments if you have not watched us live on the Chelsea-Arsenal game this afternoon, which finished 2-1 to the Arsenal. We move on. 9 games to go. 9 cup finals in the Premier League. We win our 9 games. We win the Premier League. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you on the next one.